Yeah, like I was just thinking that's the effect is very good. So I just kind of you gotta see it. Yeah, especially We'll call the meeting to order. It is the mission of Montague Area Public Schools to educate and inspire all students to become motivated, articulate, productive, and successful citizens for today, tomorrow, and forever. Next on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Katie, if we could have a roll call.
Mr. Rapp.
Here.
Mr. Johnson. Mrs. Francis. Here. Mrs. Dahl. Here. Mr. Weisneiser. Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mrs. Bauer. Here.
Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Support.
Discussion? There's no discussion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Okay, agenda is approved. Number 5 on the agenda is the consent agenda. I need a motion for
Support.
okay. Discussion of the consent agenda.
Yeah, just special thank you. Obviously, as you can see, some of the resignations. Megan Brown helped out with our golf team quite a bit. So Mr. Curtis going through his cancer during a period of time. So thank you for her service. Also thank you to Pam Deegan and her 20 years of service here in the district on a multiple of different positions, one being nurse, and then Kelly Ritter, 8th grade English teacher as well, for her 18 years of service as well.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passed. Number 6 on the agenda is the public comment portion of the meeting. Public comments will be accepted at this time. Each statement shall be limited to 5 minutes duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board welcomes public comment but does not respond to citizens' concerns at its meetings. At the citizens' request and the board's direction, the superintendent or designee will respond in a timely manner. This meeting is a meeting for the board, a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Katie, we didn't have you to be on the list. Is there anybody that would like to make a public comment at this time? All right. Number 7 on the list is reports.
All right, it's our favorite time of the meeting, the principal meaningful minute. Let's go first. Thank you.
Well, last time I was here, I was sharing with you about our weekly author studies for March's Reading Month. We wrapped up March with our FFA coming over, and it was such a cold day. We were supposed to be outside on the cross-country trail doing an I Spy project with them, and it just was really nasty. So 7 of the FFA girls came over, and they transformed our discovery room into a wonderful obstacle course full of I Spy things, and our kids went through and practiced counting and recording, and they had lots of fun. So we really appreciate that partnership. Our FFA has partnered with us, I think, 3 times already this year, and always lots of fun. We can't be more grateful for having them come over and help us out. We really haven't done much in April other than we are getting ready for our kindergarten roundup and our preschool transition meetings. And so next Wednesday, our current kindergartners will take a bus over to early school. They'll take a little tour. They're divided out, so they will go visit a first grade classroom, hear a story, check out the room. They'll play in the playground and have an opportunity to walk through the cafeteria and get a snack. As you may or may not know, the cafeteria and the recess playground are the biggest deal for our kindergartners going over there. And so we like to give them an opportunity just to know what it will experience. While they're there, our preschool kids are going to come in, and our kindergarten teachers are going to work in teams to do some activities with the incoming preschoolers so that we get just a little better taste of what's coming our way. We have not done an evaluation or an assessment in years. We've always worked on Strictly Birthday, and this year we were a bit surprised at just the differences in our incoming kindergartners and wanted to know a little bit about them, a few less surprises. So we are going to do just some activities with them that let us see their fine motor skills, their ability to play next to each other and follow directions, be redirected, and then of course participate in a story. So listen for seat time and see how we do. And then we'll use that data that they collect to help divide up classrooms for next year. Yeah. Thank you.
So the middle school, right before break, we had our 6th grade band and choir concert. So that's the first time these bands and choirs have sang for their parents and families. So that was a great success. It's amazing to see how far our 6th graders come in the beginning of the year when they can't put their instrument together to playing whole songs by the end of the year, and they sounded really good. So kudos to Emma and Scott for that. We also finished our One School, One Book. We were at Slacker this year, the whole month of March. The school read it together. We took time out of our community time each day and read that book as a school, and then every kid took the book home with them at the end of the month. April is testing season, so there'll be a lot of that going on. We're wrapping up our NWEA testing for those that need to do makeups, and PSAT is Wednesday, and next week is 8th grade M-STEP, and the week after that is 6th and 7th grade M-STEP. So a lot of that going on in April. That takes up a whole bunch of our time. We'll also have Deb Anderson come in from the Child Abuse Council. She's going to do some internet safety lessons with our 7th and 8th graders, just around being careful about phishing and who are you really talking to when you're talking to people online, and just being extra safe when you're using those tools. They're a great learning tool, but they can also get us in some trouble too. And in April, we'll also start our 8th grade transition over to high school. Mr. Patton will be over in April to have his first visit with our 8th graders, talk about schedule and classes and all that stuff for next year, so parents will start to see that for the first time coming home and start to make some of those choices for their incoming freshmen.
And I'll pull double duty today, so I'm Mr. Henderson. And March is reading month. We just wrapped that up right before spring break. Lots of different activities that we did throughout the month, and wrapped that up with donuts with grown-ups. And that's always a very well-attended event. I think we counted well over 300, well, at least 300 students in the building had someone come and read with them, and those were the names that were on the sign-up list. So we know we missed some, but that's always a great turnout, and the adults that come love to do that. And then just a little summary of the high school. I have been there a few days recently, and it's definitely hopping place. There's a lot going on. So in March, FFA and DECA both competed at the state level. They both brought home lots of major hardware. So make sure you check out their Facebook pages for that, because they post all of those things there. The high school band earned straight ones at Festival. They will be going to State Festival in a few weeks. 29 students went to a poetry workshop at Fruitport High School. The Hope Squad is active and moving forward with just trying to spread some positive messages throughout the building, handing out bracelets, treats, messages, things like that. Their new, I believe this year, is the language arts team that is going and competing at the conference level. They took 3rd place in the conference against other schools in our conference. The talent show returned this year, so that was just, I think, the week right before break. The theater students, the play this year was Arsenic and Lace, and they pulled that together kind of on short time, and it was really great. I attended that, and lots of memorization, and the kids did a really great job. The competitive cheer team took 12th at regionals. The wrestling team sent 5 wrestlers to individual state, where senior Brooke Berry was chosen to sing the national anthem at the 3rd session at Ford Field. That was really cool. And our wrestling team is also academic all-state with a cumulative GPA of 3.92. The robotics team ended their season. They were 15th out of 39 at GVSU and got the 2nd place Alliance ranking. And then the West Michigan Student Showcase, we sent some students there to represent Montague in visual arts. Mars Stout actually won honorable mention for the submission titled All of the Time. And if you go to the Showcase website, you can see that. Very impressive. Literary arts, we were represented by A.K. Davey, athletics, Rodney Brassfield and Warren Smith, and academic Silas Jancic. Wednesday, Mr. Crow said, starts the testing cycle, the SAT, PSAT, ACT, and M-STEP. Spring sports are well on their way, and the seniors graduate 5 weeks from Friday.
All right, next on is superintendent comments. Just a reminder for the tech and security millage, as we're looking forward here to a May 2nd election. You will be seeing a lot more information coming out from the district around that May 2nd election. This is a renewal of the technology and security millage. This is ran as a county-wide. That is the only way that it can be sent through that technology and security millage. On our website, you will be able to see a badge currently that shows everything that we have spent over the last 10 years, or maybe 9 years, I guess, or 8 years, as we're moving forward into this. But over the past 8 years, what we have spent on using the technology and security millage. You'll see some other things that we are looking to in the future to spending those dollars on as well, if it were to pass. This is additional funds for the district that we currently use on a consistent basis, and it would obviously affect our vet budget greatly. It is approximately $310,000 a year. So this is an important election for the district as a whole, but we will be putting out information to all our parents and families and staffs moving forward, just to provide information so that they can make the choice that they so desire. District updates, just making sure everybody's got it on their calendar. May 19th, 7 p.m. May 19th, that's that Friday at 7 p.m. That we will look to have graduation. Also, as you heard from the principal meaningful minutes, lots of testing going on this month with the M-STEP, PSAT, SAT, and WEA testing as far as growth status, benchmarking growth status throughout the district as well. I know that I touched base on this previously, but just making sure that everybody understands the promise, the Muskegon promise. Aaron Muskegon County has expanded from that 3.5 GPA to a 3.25 GPA. So any Montague High School student that graduates with a 3.25 or higher, that lives within the, this is where it gets a little complicated, within the district boundaries, they get free tuition. If they live outside of Muskegon County, if they live in Oceana County, but within the district, they do get the out-of-county tax, so it's not the classes themselves, they get the tax, has to be paid for it still. I'm currently working with the Promise Board to hopefully get that expanded in this expansion. There's a meeting tomorrow. Mr. Lindquist is going to propose this as part of the expansion as well, is that we as our one district, obviously with Oceana County, Urbana has a small portion that's in Kent County, and then Fruitport has a small portion that is in Ottawa County. There's a small area. I think we are affected the greatest as far as families and students, as Oceana County is a large number, or a big portion, unlike Fruitport and Urbana. Just also let you know, the new gymnasium is still in progress. It is a little slow in that progress, but we are making sure that we want to get things right. They continue to put more information together for us. I will be sharing that out over the next month as well. We are still planning to break ground over the summer. After kids get out, we want to make sure, I think the most important thing is to make sure that a proper drive and parking area is set for the upcoming school year. That would be the sole premise of the summer, not necessarily the building itself, but to making sure that our bus drive is established for around the back so that the buses can still move forward as construction continues to move on over the next year and a half. Talked about the promise. Couple legislative updates. Currently, the legislators came back from spring break today, so there will be a lot of action in Lansing over the next week or two. There are a couple concerning or important, I guess I would say, bills that are out there. One in connection with PA 152, which is the insurance component of staff, and whether that is the hard cap or the 80/20, and some of the language out there has been proposed. There would be even more so on the district as a whole than the 80/20, the 80% that is paid, or having a hard cap, or getting rid of the hard cap as a whole. There's a lot of conversations with that. The changes in that work would be detrimental to districts, I think, in some regard, as far as the fiscal aspect of it. And just making sure that we're working with our legislators on that. I think everybody might like the idea of having the insurance and less cost for insurance. But the other aspect that we need to not forget is that the insurance companies themselves, back in 2011, when this was put in effect, we would see insurance rates of 16 and 17% each year, and inflation on those prices, where since we have not seen one over 3.5%. So that helps, make sure that we're not a one-time cost, but as prices increase over time, that they're smaller, because it creates more of a competitive market for the insurance companies. The other bill to watch is around prohibited bargaining, House Bill 4044, that is kind of taking back some of the things that were taking out of bargainings previously. So just making sure that some of them have some substance, where others definitely would make it much more difficult for the district as a whole and a board to work through. And that is it for superintendent comments.
All right. Number 8 on the agenda is new business. Consideration of MAISD biennial election. Jeff?
So at this point in time, there is no action that is needed. You are to consider this, and this is to, on May 8th, candidates will be shared out to the districts. I'm currently looking into, with our board meeting being that May 8th, whether that discussion works, or if we would have to have a week's worth of time and maybe have a special meeting just for this. Now, that seems quite ludicrous to me, but at the same time, I do want to make sure that we're following things properly with the ISD. But just an FYI, you will receive candidates. I'll make sure to share those out on May 8th. Who those candidates will be, and then we have to vote upon a resolution at a later point in time.
Okay. Number 9, we will be going into closed session.
Motion.
Yep.
Support.
Discussion?
And this will be back to back. We'll have a closed session, come out of closed session, go into another closed session, come out of closed session.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Francis? Yes. Mrs. Dahl? Yes. Mr. Bison?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Newbauer?
Yes.